Mic check 1 2 1 2. Can anybody hear me? Can anybody hear me? If so, let me get a one in the chat. If you can hear me, because what I do know is no one can hear you. Yes, you have been live, and there is no sound from you. Okay. Yeah, no one can hear you. They can hear me, but they can't hear you. By the way, everyone, hello and welcome to Set in the West. I am your friendly neighborhood West Sider, Jaguar, right? And this is Wolfgang Amadeus, Set in the West, where you can get all your relevant hip hop news, all your relevant hip hop commentary on all things happening hip hop West Side style. So how's everybody doing today? I'm sure everyone's getting ready to bring in the new year, whatever it is that you may be doing. Personally, I'm too old to be fooling with them streets. So I know I will not be partaking in any of the crazy outsideness. I hope everybody is, you know,
What
okay.
about now?
Now we got sound.
See,
Now
they
we
over
got
here
sound.
hating. They is over here hating. Yeah, this is ridiculous. I basically, of course, y'all know where I'm at. I was basically letting people know I am on Slauson and Crenshaw,
I know
and
that face.
my man right here, he's giving a hood tour, and I was talking to him. Give me 1 second. Go ahead.
Yeah, whatever was said, nobody heard anything. Hello? Are we there?
I'm here. You hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. I thought you were bringing somebody else in to speak.
No, 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 no. I was just saying that someone came. There we go. Yeah, that's right down the street. But yeah, somebody is giving a hood tour, yo, and I'm gonna promote his business. We got the LA Hood Life tours, right? So
Mhm.
he just dropped some people off. They're right over here in front of the Fat Burger, right by the Nip mural,
Mhm.
right behind where you know um, the Marathon store, or where Nip had his store. In fact, not far from where he was unalive. Rest in peace. But yeah, he got the little situation right here. Maybe I'll see if he want to do a promo or talk about it. Hey fam, I was I was letting the audience know. I showed them the if you want to say something, I got the homegirl on here.
We gotta do Hollywood Hood tours. Come on down, come again, and tell a friend. You know what I mean?
Yep.
If you want to know all about the hood, come and take our tour with us. I guarantee you gonna love it.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep, and a real hood tour. And I know somebody on some
hood tour.
yeah,
I'm
not
from Compton.
exactly. That's what's up.
So, I'm a real gangbang. I'm a crip. So
That's what's up.
what I'm saying?
What hood?
I'm from Santana Block.
Oh, that's what's up. Okay.
Yeah.
I saw. I went to high school with Gang.
Yeah.
So his mom. I know his mom. I know his moms too. Yeah. Yeah.
It's history. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Hoover, Dad, OG Brandy.
That's what's
You know
up.
what I mean?
Yep.
I know his brother Face, all that.
Yeah. Yep. It's
They right there on Willow.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
For sure. But yeah, I'm. You already know I'm promoting it, family.
Come down and tell a friend. You
That's
know what
what's
I mean?
up.
Come take the hood too.
Indeed.
All right.
Yep.
Only on the
Got somebody
West.
got a real one.
Only on the
You say
Set in the
what?
West. I said only
Oh
on
yeah,
Set in the West.
only on Set in the West. So you ain't gonna get that nowhere else, y'all. Yeah. He said he from Santana Block. That's funny because we were talking about Santana Block and
Mhm.
the whole connection with Puff and all that. But again, we're promoting Black businesses for real. You know what I'm saying? And this ties in perfectly with what we're talking about just in general.
Actually, that would have been a good question for you to ask him.
I should ask him. Let me ask. Hey, real quick. So the audience, we're saying, because
And by the
I'm
way,
actually
run
doing
those lights up, y'all. Stop playing. This is real live street action. We're having a
that
real
all
live
right.
street conversation with real live street commentator. We're over here, Hollywood Hood Tours. And what we want to know from you, sir, is how do you feel about this whole F the streets campaign that they got going on? Like all of these white bloggers, first they were all, treating, what I mean, gang banging culture like it was a trip to the zoo, selling tickets to the average person. Now everybody's saying F
Well,
the
they don't.
streets.
They don't know our lifestyle. They don't know what we've been through. They don't know how we was raised. It was a culture thing. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And then now we got right now a lot of us hoods is peace treaty. Because
Exactly.
it ain't all about us. It's about our children. If we know better, we gonna do better. You know,
Mhm.
Bloods, Crips, whatever. You know what I mean? We gonna help each other. If we can help each other, that's what we gonna do. Is everybody on board with the peace treaty? I don't think so. But hopefully in due time, it will come.
Yeah.
But they don't know our history or nothing. If they really knew, then they would come down and see it for themselves and help.
Exactly. Yeah.
Same thing like that. He was a gang banger, but look at what he accomplished in his short time.
Yeah.
And look how he was pushing the community.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's what it's all about. They don't want to talk about that part when you're doing good. They want to talk about all the violence and the killings and the murders. What is that? You know what I mean? We ain't had enough of that.
Exactly.
We better than that.
Yep. So now they're pushing this whole campaign called "Fuck the Streets." That's basically what they're talking about. Which I understand it, but they're still not really talking about the real root. Like I was gonna
If
get.
you don't go to the root, how can a flower grow? The flower, you must plant a seed first.
Yeah.
And then the flower can grow.
Yep.
But if you put us in these positions, we're not able to do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now we ain't came up, we know better, we're doing better.
Exactly.
Now
All right, I
I
didn't
have
want to
another
disturb you.
question to
Oh, go
ask.
ahead.
Before we go, how much of this, this peace treaty really kicked into swing? Like I'm trying to find a delicate way to put this, but I guess there's no delicate way to put it. We all know that Big U is in jail. He's facing big time. And we all know that not long ago his son was, he lost his life in them streets. Was this peace treaty like influenced by the loss of Baby Huey's life or
This peace treaty been going on for years and years. Some
okay.
of us is gonna take years and years. It's been wars for years. And then some of it is gonna take some hoods longer than others.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? The worstest wars is not Bloods and Crips. The worstest wars is Crips against Crips and Bloods against Bloods. First, you
Yeah.
gotta get that resolved. If you can start resolving those matters first, and then we can come together. But it's been
Question.
peace treaty been going on for about 15 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, then I guess my other question would be for OG in these streets, a real crip in these streets, can you tell us like how, Baby Huey's passing has affected the community? Has there been a
Well, it's something big. It's Big U's son. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
I
yeah.
can't tell you how it affected, but it affected everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
Gang member, whatever you are. It affects you because that's somebody's son.
Yeah.
So, it's anything. It's just like if Princess Diana died. You see how it affected all the people?
Right.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So the people that knew him, it affected them deeply.
Yep.
Mm. And rest in peace to him.
No question.
All right,
And
family.
my best regards to Big U and his case. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're trying to give him 600 years.
Yeah.
They playing with him.
I've been to the Fed, so I understand. You know what I mean? But you know what? I don't think no man deserves 600 years.
Nah.
You know what I mean?
No.
you know, society always talk about rehabilitation. I did 28 years in the field.
Mm.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And they talk about rehabilitation. What do they give you when you come back here?
Nothing.
You can have all the education. You have to go forward. You have to do these things.
Yeah.
If you want to change something, you got to make the changes for yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of guys out here, good guys out here, that was gang members.
Mhm.
That's no longer gang members that own restaurants, stores, and everything. You know what I mean? Trying to help the youth out. You know what I mean? Sometimes when you're young, you go down the wrong road.
Right.
But when you, like I said again, you know better, you're going to do better.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And you know, killing each other, you know, it's a shortage on black men all over the world. If you kill one black man, then 3 go down, what? That's 4 black men gone.
Exactly.
You know?
Yep.
And in prison. You know what I mean?
Can't provide, can't contribute to society for nothing.
But let's
Exactly.
just be honest.
The
Let's be
kids,
honest.
Yep.
This is
you know, just
America.
think about that. Losses.
Yeah.
Losses. You know, when we need to come together.
Yeah.
Why do we always have to come together when something goes wrong?
Exactly.
You know, and everybody want to come together. No, we have to continue to work on this product that we doing and marching the way we marching. And I might not see it, but my grandbabies might see it.
Indeed. Indeed.
You know, like I say, if you know better, you will do better.
Indeed.
You know?
That part.
Appreciate you. Appreciate
I
you.
appreciate y'all, but I'm gonna say it again. LA Hood Tour. Come and check us out.
Indeed.
Come on.
Appreciate you. For real, yeah. No, that's real. You know what I'm saying? They do a number on the community by locking up people. They made a mistake. You know what I'm saying? They could make a mistake, and then they still could be contributors to their own neighborhoods if they are properly rehabilitated. You get what I'm saying?
I hear what you're
They
saying, but
thought
at the
that
same
somebody said they
time,
thought that was whack 100. No, that wasn't whack 100.
no, but at
Go
the
ahead.
same time, how do you have that kind of expectation out of America? You have people that go overseas and put their life on the line for their country, and they come home and they don't get looked after either. Matter of fact, they get treated like crap. You know, it's so funny. What's the difference between being a soldier and being an inmate? Is there really any difference?
Your government property. That's the common.
Your
I look
government
at
property, you got a
on both.
number as an inmate, you got a number as a soldier. You know what I mean? You don't really have no rights as a person when you're in the military. You don't have any rights when you're in jail. And
Right.
when you get out, very rarely do you get looked after. Very
Yeah.
rarely do you get
Yeah.
you get access to anything. Matter of fact, you got more veterans that get screwed over by their government for all of the things that are owed to them that they never get than anything. So it's like, you know,
Yeah.
I hear what he's saying, and we just need to remember that there's an issue in America where our people don't get taken care of. Period. Our people don't get looked after,
Yeah. Yeah.
no matter what side
And
of the street you stand on.
and I mean, he made a valid point because, and it's funny. He's speaking on all the stuff that I'm going to speak on briefly here in regards to the gang culture, and even when I'm doing the next iteration of Set in the West, I'm going to talk about that. Like, why is the gang culture so embedded in West Coast hip hop? And we can just go back to racism, white supremacy, and that's how it started. In the early days of LA, there were very few blacks. Let's just talk about when the city was officially incorporated in the 1700s.
Now that
Very
sounds
few
great, but
blacks.
before we get into that, let's get into these
Oh,
likes. We got
get the
121
likes.
people in the building. Come on,
Yeah.
we need 100 likes. We need our likes to match our views. We just had a great in-person interview with the old school Crip homie who's sitting over here promoting his hood tours. So this way, you don't have to go to YouTube to try to find out what gang culture is really all about and what them LA streets is all about. You can get it from a real one who ain't sitting online snitching.
Boom. LAHoodTours.com. Appreciate the brother for coming through and dropping that though, for real, because you know, it's like you'll sit and get a real genuine LA experience from a brother like him, and if he gave you a tour, and plus he'll keep you safe. Like, you ain't gotta come out the pockets. I would love to see Trap Lord Ross bring his ass over here and try to give a tour.
Oh,
And we'll
please.
see how that
Please.
ends up
Please.
for
It
him.
shake his ass down.
Yeah, so
I'd like to see Poetic Flacco come and give a tour from all of the stuff that he likes to talk about with his real African ass.
nah,
I'm
nah,
just
yeah, he better go and he better give a tour of Lagos. He anyway, yeah. But yeah, you get a real inside info from a brother like that. And he said he'd been down for damn near 33 decades. That's crazy. And for him to come out though
did you
and
say
do something
33
like this is good.
decades?
He said damn near 28 years he was in the feds.
Yeah, I know, but you said 33 decades.
I was about to say 30 years, and then I stopped myself and I said 3 decades. That's what I said. That's my
It
bad.
must be chilly.
It ain't that cold. Shit. It ain't cold compared to where you from. Y'all probably burning all kind of logs and shit in
we
Philly.
had a wood we had a wood burning stove in my daddy's house.
Oh, that's dope. That's
Hmm.
dope.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, look. In fact, look. Let me go. So I'm pretty much in the houses behind where Nip had Slauson Tees. You see, they're building. This is in fact, that's funny. That building, because that's on Slauson. That building right there, that used to be the spot. It used to be the underground club where I used to kind of kick it at back in the day. But they tore it
Mm.
down and they're putting up high rises. In fact, I'm gonna walk on over there to
They're doing
Slauson.
a whole lot of regentrification
Ah,
everywhere. And once again,
man,
y'all, come on, let's get those likes up.
hit the
Let's
likes,
get the
y'all. Hit the
likes up.
likes. Let me see if I'm gonna go over there towards because I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of story time, and we're gonna go on the scene when I give the story
Hmm.
time about the streets, F the streets, this whole movement. They're a little too late. Um, I guess it started with 21 Savage saying something about F the streets, and I'm curious. First off, the question is, what are the streets?
Hmm.
Are they talking about street music? Are they talking about this slanted version of hip hop that they're pushing when it comes to the street culture, the street life, um,
Thug life.
thug life? Right on time. You got Pac right there, right on time. Yeah, actually, it's a block over. I think it was on Kennison. But see, look, they're building this up. I think Slauson Donuts was, yep, right over there. Slauson Donuts was right over there. And they've done this quick. Like this building is like fairly new, and it's like it got erected quick. This one over here too. Um, yeah, for those who don't know, if y'all see that video, Rap Ninjas,
Oh, this is live from LA. This is live from
we
LA.
are we are
Welcome to
in
Set in the
LA.
West.
We are in LA. Corey McLeod. This is the liquor store where Nip was on top of the roof. Go to that video, Rap Ninjas, right? And you see Nip on the roof performing. He did it right here. Right here, the liquor store off Brian. They say Brian Hurst. I grew up over here. They've been saying Brian Hurst for the longest, but it's actually Bryn Hurst, right? Bryn Hurst and Slauson. That's where I'm at. I'm right here in the neighborhood. Yeah, Slauson Tees. It was down here. In fact, Nip store. The Slauson Donuts was right here. Look at it. It's no longer here. It's no longer here. And they got this building at the building. Obviously, they're doing another one here. Boom. And you see this building. Yeah. Yeah, this used to be the little spot, though, for real. This used to be the spot. Well, obviously, you still got Woody's. Shout out to Woody's Barbecue. Right? Hungry Harold's. Everybody, if you're from the neighborhood, you know what Hungry Harold's is. But yeah, what's up, y'all? Let me see. Man, I'm telling y'all, I was there recently, had Master Burger. Yeah, Master Burger is is up too. Everything is pretty much a done deal. So it's because of this train that's running through the neighborhood. And yeah. But back to what I was saying about the F the Streets movement. This whole F the Streets movement is about 20 years too late. And I'm gonna say it like that because I remember Nip was telling a story. And when did Nip really start getting it popping with the rap? He's always been rapping, but I think I didn't really start paying on no mind. I think I'm about 2009, 2010, 2008, something like that. And I remember he was telling us a story though. In fact, here's the Marathon store. Let me get y'all to. This is where he unfortunately passed away. Rest in peace. But this is where the Marathon store is and was. Now it's the Neighborhood Nip Foundation. Rest in peace to Nip. He was telling us a story about him being over there at the Arco. And, right over here is where he used to, sells his shirts and stuff like that. And right over there, the Arco across the street is where one day he was hanging out and something told him to just leave. He bounced. He said minutes later, there was a shootout and, everybody that was there, whatever, wop, wop, whoop, scattered, left, whoop, whoop. And this is when cameras were pretty much erected everywhere. And they just there's always been cameras around here, but it wasn't like to the scale we got now. You're talking about the old VHS. Y'all seen Men's Society where it was Old Dog and he was passing that tape around of what he did at that liquor store to them Korean people. It was those type of tapes. Now you got the digital tapes, and a crime happened right here on Slauson and Crenshaw at the Arco. It was a shootout. And when the police came to gather up everybody, they had evidence on everybody because they had the actual cameras, and it happened right over here. And fortunately, Nip left and wasn't implicated or caught up in that whole little situation. And I think he just started changing the way he moved from then on out. But you got to move differently when you got freaking cameras everywhere. You see them cameras up there? See them like them old school cameras like right here? Yeah. They've always been there. Even when I was a kid, that camera system. But you see, obviously it's a different type of setup. But yeah, they got different types of cameras now.
Mm-hmm.
And you ain't running from, hold on, you ain't running from that. Them digital cameras, it's different. So, and he was telling this, I think this happened in 2008 or something like that. Streets been dead. You ain't finna go around here and do anything in a criminal nature and think you're gonna get away with it. The streets been gone. Now, I find it interesting that an artist like 21 Savage is the one who is spearheading this campaign about F the streets when he has ties. I think 21 Savage has ties to Lyre Cohen, who is the head of YouTube Music Global, right?
Lyre Cohen.
He has ties to, free Derek Chauvin. Okay, hold on.
I got it.
Free these nuts in your mouth.
I got it.
Yeah, we ain't freeing no. Anyway, Lyre Cohen, he co-founded or founded 300 Entertainment. Which one was it? Did he co-found it? I had all my notes in this phone.
He co-founded
300 Entertainment. Everybody do the history on 300 Entertainment. 300 Entertainment is like they're the forefathers. They're the ones who ushered in this street music.
But let's remember, That was all tied to Mob Ties was tied to that. Jay Prince, all of that.
Yeah,
They've been encouraging this culture for quite some time. And it's wild.
it's a little loud over here. Let me get on over here by the Taco Pete. In fact, let me promote Taco Pete. If you come to LA, they got the best tacos. See, look, black people, we do tacos different. Tacos, we know it's a Mexican thing, Spanish thing, right? We do tacos different. They got the best black tacos here, bro. Swear to God. And plus, it's raining like cats and dogs. So let me just fall in here real quick and holler at the OG real quick. This Taco Pete used to be right there down the street from. Oh, it's kind of loud in here too. Right off of where I used to live, off Central and 120th. Because I used to live right down the street, but that was the original Taco Pete. It's still loud in here though. Hold on one second. Anyway, 300 Entertainment, y'all. 300 Entertainment is Lear Cohen's. And 300 Entertainment is the one that got this whole Young Thug thing going.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw Young Thug, a gangbanger wearing a dress, I knew it was a rap then. But they pushed 300 Entertainment is who pushed this streets. I'll just say it like that. And when I say the streets, I'm talking about what the music industry pushes as streets music. So now all of a sudden, you got rappers out here condemning the streets. You just had the OG who came on earlier and was telling us about real street stuff that goes on in the streets. And obviously a lot of these dudes who talk about all this street stuff, they really nerds. The only one I'll give props to Glasses Malone. Shout out to G Malone. He's a real street dude. But all these other people, like I can't verify yo, that you're a real one, to be honest. So what are you
Speaking
doing? You
of,
out here promoting what?
sidebar, what the hell is going on with Spider Loke? Because apparently all of the so-called G bangers on YouTube are now coming after Spider Loke.
Okay, so Spider Loke, and shout out to Spider Loke. Spider Loke said something very controversial about a week ago in regards to a gangbanger turned author who he switched his life around. If you guys ever saw this book or heard of a book called Monster, this month I got the Back to the Future car. He got the low budget Back to the Future car. I don't
Is
know if
that a
it's gonna hit
DeLorean?
88 miles an hour. No, that was a Mazda or a Datsun. It looked like one of them. But
I was about to say, ooh, that Touareg.
88 miles per hour. That's funny. Yeah, nah, he ain't got a Datsun. That nigga got a.
Marty, Marty, let's get to the ditty party. To the future. Looking ass.
That's funny. But Spider Loke got up under some people's skin, and for me, it's here nor there because he made a comment about Monster Cody. For those who don't know, Monster Cody is like really, yeah, one of the first books I remember, like junior high school. Everybody was talking about that book because he was in that book. It was almost like, well, I ain't gonna compare him to. I can't compare him to. It was like a tell-all book for the gangsters, though, kinda.
Mm-hmm.
And he was mentioning names, and he was saying stuff, and he was doing what he was doing in that book, and it turned a lot of people who normally won't read books. It turned them into literature. Like they would go be reading these books, and not mad at that. But he made a comment about Monster Cody, who was from A-Tray Gangsta. I'm in the neighborhood right now. That's the opposing hood for the 6-0s is the A-Tray Gangsters. But the funny thing is the A-Trays and the A-Trays and the 6-0s, they all really came. Y'all don't. I know some history. I ain't gonna say it. I'm gonna wait because I'm gonna probably start a new channel where I'm gonna be talking about all the stuff that's really going on. But about like certain hoods and gangs and how they started. But the A-Trays and the gangsters, A-Trays and the 6-0s never got along, and it all started with like I think a party, and it was over a girl. But long story short,
It's always at a party over a
it's
girl.
all always. Long story short, Monster Cody got disrespected supposedly by Spider-Loc. He said at the end of Monster Cody's life, he was down on Skid Row, uh, slurping draws and smoking dope. That's what he said. That's what he
Okay,
said. And he was
pause.
wearing
Before we
dresses and wearing
pause,
dresses. That's
pause. Before we go any further, we need at least 100 likes
oh
to finish this story.
y'all gotta get the
Cause y'all
likes up,
tripping.
man.
Y'all tripping. Hit the
Y'all
like
gotta
button.
get the
Now
likes up.
stop acting like you're allergic to it. Just hit it.
Yeah, but
Wait a
apparently,
minute. Spider said that about
yeah,
OJ.
somebody else put something else in the comments about him saying something about somebody from Hoover and Hoover's or some guy said he squabbled with 50 dudes from East Coast Crip or something, and there was no verification. Like it's all kind of stuff. But I know when I saw that video on Cam Capone, and people were going off on that, and I ain't like I said, I ain't got to say in it because I'm not in it like that. But I guess when you disrespect or you say something crazy about somebody who's beloved in the hood, you yeah, I guess everybody's on his head about it. I don't know if it's
You want to know
true.
what I
Then if
don't
it's
understand? Why is it that these YouTubers are always the first one to inflame these beefs? And then everybody jumps all over it and everybody's all over top of it. Like I'm tired. I'm tired of these YouTubers literally fanning the flames of street problems or street issues when it needs to be handled in the street. None of this stuff should be handled online. And the truth is, from what I remember, OGs didn't talk online. OGs
no,
didn't talk.
no.
OGs didn't allow themselves to be recorded. So anybody that's sitting online talking this gang stuff, you just as fugazi as whoever you got a problem with, in my opinion. Like none of this stuff should be being discussed online. You got people running around sitting here like that whole business with Nova and all of that stuff that was going on. That was so disrespectful. And the truth is real OG should have been pulling people's collars and snatching people offline then.
The
But
internet,
yeah.
they said it a while back. The internet is the new streets. So let's put this "F the streets" slogan or whatever. You say, are
Where
we
it
really promoting
belongs.
gang? No, we're not. No, we're not promoting gangs. Spiritually motivated. Where did any of us say anything about promoting gangs? We're talking about internet stuff, and that's why I said the internet is the new streets. Well, I ain't even say the new streets. The damn internet is the streets now, I guess. So if we're talking about F the streets, and
Well
we
then
gonna we
yeah,
gonna
F,
really break it
F the
down.
internet. F the internet.
There we go. Let's do that.
That's what
F
people should be
this,
saying. But
all that.
can I just address something when it comes to spiritually motivated? Uh Number one, no one's sitting here asking anybody to sign up to become a part of a gang. Nobody's sitting here representing no colors. Nobody's sitting here fanning bandanas and calling out gang signs and putting up gang signs. None of that's happening. What we are talking about is the effect of a very real community and how the agitation in that community is spilling over to the rest of the community. That's
Yep,
what we're talking about.
that's what we're talking about. We're discussing that.
And that needs to
We're
be
not promoting.
discussed.
We're not promoting anything. We're not saying blood crip be this or that whatever. If look, let me reveal something to y'all. If you really want to get effed up in the streets, especially LA, you would wear a shirt like this. Y'all know who this is? If you really want to get beat up in LA, you wear something like that. That's why I'm hiding it. I'm like, this is a joke. I never wore this shirt like to as for real. But I remember wearing it to work, and it kind of I know Tavis was looking at me crazy. Guys don't know who Larry Elder is. He's supposed to be the jewel of South, the Prince Jewel of South Central, whatever. No, we're not promoting gangs, and it's not political or nothing like that. But that's Larry Elder, Slim Mo.
No, but
Look him up. That's all I gotta say. And what it says, this is a joke. This is a troll. Respect your elder. Yeah, if you really want to start some ish in LA, pull up talking about him. But no, this is just really giving context about what's going on the internet right now. The internet is very influential. Do you agree, Jag?
oh, absolutely.
Very influential. In fact, I think if we're going to talk about the influence of the internet, the new mayor of New York City, it was for the first time the internet kind of like swayed that whole vote. He had like what 6 million
What,
followers
Mom
on
Dami? Was it Mom
IG. Yeah,
Dami? What's his
yeah,
name? Mom Dami?
yeah, yeah, yep. They're paying attention to what's being said on the internet. The internet has always been that, and somewhat of an influencer of people's thoughts.
The first election that really, really, really got swayed by the internet was Barack Obama. And they
Yeah,
bragged about it. They bragged about how they use
yeah,
social media to get the
yeah,
numbers and to get the turnout that they
yeah.
got. And it's so funny because they did such a good job promoting that they got mad when Trump started
When
doing it.
Trump did it, yeah, yeah,
And then went and got his own app.
got his own social media platform. But yeah, no, we're not promoting gangs, and that's definitely not what we're talking about. We're just talking about how influential the streets are. And when they say F the streets, I ask the question, I say, what are the streets? And I'll just say the streets ain't just talking, on the streets of Crenshaw, on the streets of Slauson. It ain't streets. It's I guess what the only way I could really break it down, if you talk about what is the streets, we're talking about a culture. The culture of what? No snitching, the culture of crime, if you would really say that. But if we want to go there, in the beginning, there were always elements of society that have always been pushed down, not elevated. You start off with the Italians. When the Italians first came to this country, they were not considered white.
No.
Am I is that the truth, Jag? I mean,
Yeah, you're absolutely right. They were not considered. They were not acknowledged. Matter of fact, they were looked down upon. Matter of fact, most immigrants that weren't from here that came here were considered not of here, looked down upon.
yep,
There's always been some kind of discrimination. And it's just so funny because the very people starting all the discrimination came here, ingratiated their way into the indigenous population, took it over, and they've been sitting here playing that game ever since.
yeah. And the game that they play, number one, don't play any game you don't know the rules to, right? And don't play the game if you ain't got a code. I mentioned the Italians because I was going to also mention the Polacks, the Polish, the
Yeah,
Germans. They were
yeah,
not considered white. Well, I wouldn't say Germans, but yeah, well, definitely the Polish, Jews, Italians. If you have a group of individuals, and really I'm talking about the men of this group. If they're not going along with the program, the American program, they're going to get eliminated. So the Italians, what does La Cosa Nostra actually means? It means our thing.
yep.
Nostra is us. Cosa is something, thing. So they say it's our thing. It's our thing. That's basically what they say. It's our thing. The stuff that they did was their thing, and you can't.
That's no
If you're an
different than
outsider,
gang
you're
banging.
not in.
It's no
Go
different
ahead.
than gang banging.
Well, let's see. That's what I'm walking it up to. the Italians came to this country, and they've done a whole lot. Like I said, the mafia. They've done it. They organized crime. The power structure, the government had to give them a way in and say, you know what, look, we're gonna make y'all a part of this society. All right, Italians, okay, boom. Guys, we'll just give you guys the fire departments. So you got a lot of Italians, for the most part, it's a generational thing. They're firemen. The Polish, a lot of Polish came here, and I'm talking about on the East Coast for the most part. They got the police departments. And you know, so on so forth. A lot of Jewish men became lawyers, attorneys. They pretty much cornered the market when it came to law firms, attorneys, paralegals, all that. In LA, and I was talking about the history of blacks being in LA, and I was telling you, Jack, remember I was talking to you just about in general about one governor. I believe it was Emmanuel Dominguez. If you guys know LA, there's a place called Dominguez Hills. There's a Cal State Dominguez, all that. He owned so much land. And when California, Alta California just became California, became part of the United States, he had to give up a lot of that land. He didn't have any male relatives or offspring to give it to. So he gave it to his daughters, and he encouraged his daughters to marry white men. Jesus Christ. Come on. Ain't that goddamn serious. Ignorant. Anyway, fucking up my flow. But what I'm saying is a lot of black people came to LA from the South, starting in like the early 1900s. And they were pretty much designated in one area to live, Central Avenue, Watts. Then eventually, you know, you got them in the Compton in the 40s and 50s as well. Compton was like, 5% black in 1940, and then in the 60s, it was damn near majority black. But we were only designated to be in certain areas. If you step outside the areas, you're going to get dealt with by the Klan. And the Klan at the time wasn't out here like that. They were a bunch of white teenagers called the Spook Hunters. You would get dealt with by the Spook Hunters. The Jesse Owens Park, it used to be called something else park. That's off Western and Century. Black people couldn't go to that park, really. And if you went to that park, the Spook Hunters was messing with you. The Spook Hunters were primarily in a city called Southgate. Linwood, it's like little west, north of Compton. And they did their thing. They were going around terrorizing mainly, you know, black kids and old people. Some punk shit, right? The Spook Hunters had the resistance. That's where you got the Slossons, the farmers, the businessmen. You know, they had these different gangs. They started off as families, just little black families. Like, oh, okay, well, grandma going or auntie going over to the park, or go to this area. We're gonna go there with her because we're gonna protect. And that's how the gangs in LA started for the most part. It was basically protecting our people from racial violence. So you fast forward now, they started fighting against each other, and you know, after the Spook Hunters have been defeated, and actually they didn't get defeat. The Spook Hunters actually became parts of Maywood Police, LAPD, the sheriffs. They became older, and that's what that was their future. Oh, you know, we'll become law enforcement. For the most part, gangbangers, when they became older, they were subject to the morgue or the jail. So that's pretty much what that's what we're talking about. The term streets, when we're talking about this lifestyle, it's really based on, and not just LA, let's say Chicago too, gang culture. And the industry turned around and made that a thing, especially when the rise of hip hop was popping off, and people like, who was it? KRS-One. I'm gonna go back to Self-Destruction. KRS-One. Who else was part of Self-Destruction? Heavy D was there, right? Oh no, Heavy D was Same Gang, right? Yeah.
No, No, self-destruction, because
No, Heavy
self-destruction
D
was
was
East Coast.
self-destruction. You're right. Yeah,
Was
yeah,
East
yeah.
Coast.
Cold ass song. Yeah, it was all East Coast. I'm tripping. You're right. Cold ass songs. East Coast came with self-destruction, talking about you're headed for self-destruction if you stay pushing this lifestyle. If you stay, today's topic, self-destruction. It ain't the rap for the, if y'all don't, if you don't know it, I know it like I know it, like you know a Bible verse, Jack. I know that song like, you know, dope ass song. On the West
Yeah.
Coast, Easy E and a bunch of others came out and they had something called The Same Gang. Even I
Same
think
game.
MC Hammer was in that. Cold ass song. They were just talking about the consequences of living the street life.
You want to know what's funny? Sidebar, just a little hip hop correlation. When you hear Gene Deal talk about that gang that he was in called Same Gang,
The Same Gang.
yeah,
Yeah.
isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Diddy was in it with him.
Was he? Wow.
Yeah, they said he's told the story about how that's how he started doing security for Diddy because he was a little young boy, he was the young homie, and they jumped him in.
Yeah. You're right. I remember that. Yep. Yep.
Interesting. And Same Gang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same gang. But I'm moving along fast because we're gonna end this. Not, y'all hit the like button, please. I appreciate the 83 likes already. Please hit the like button. Again, station identification. This is Set in the West. You are tuned in. This is Wolfgang Amadeus, and you got the voice of the lovely, illustrious Jaguar Wright. Like I said, she
Salute.
don't just pop up for anybody, and I appreciate her being here. And yeah, the streets, F the streets movement. I'm just giving y'all a little bit of history of where I'm from, my city. And we're talking about the evolution of this gangbang, whatever going on right now within the industry. You could really say Ice-T and really PSK. Shout out to Philly, the Parkside Killers. They were the real ones that really like kind of start this in the music game and really talk about the street life. I'm gonna give it to them. I even said that in my documentary. Ice-T was like the first one, and it wasn't called gangster rap. He said it was called reality rap, and he won line because that was his reality. Ice-T was down the street, Crenshaw High. I was about to go down there to Crenshaw High, and that's where he would kick it. Shout out to Ice-T. Ice-T is a real OG, and he been through it. And I got much appreciation for him because he changed his life around. And he was out there. He was out there. He was really about it. And the music took him to another, and he was just telling his reality. He was talking about the stuff that really happened in his raps. I remember the first big song that I remember from T.I.C. was Colors, but he had 6 in the morning, and he was talking about the Batarams. And y'all don't know, they in the late 80s, when the police would target certain neighborhoods and they say, oh, that place is a place where they will sell drugs, D-rugs, they would come in with Daryl Gates. Look to do the history. Daryl Gates, the chief of police, LAPD, would have this boom because we had bar gates, bar doors, security. Like you wasn't just finna break in somebody's house. They would batarram. They had this little boom, batarram your spot. And then Todd E.T. had a song called Batarram. So hip hop has always talked about the ills of really being in the street culture. It's always, and it's never been promoting it like that. You move forward to the early 2000s, because I've totally missed NWA. I ain't gonna go there, but you move forward to the early 2000s, and hip hop it's not becoming as what's the word? It didn't have variety. Like I said, back in the early 90s, you had Far Side on the West Coast, and you had NWA, and you had everybody in between. Far Side was considered this quirky, and I love Far Side. Shout out to the Far Side. And then you had NWA, who was these hardcore like.
And on the East Coast, you had Boogie Down Productions, you had the X Clan, you had PE, you had Cool Mo D, you had Cool G Rap, and you had Kid and Play.
Yep, exactly.
You had Will Smith and the Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. You had,
Yep. Yep.
you know what I mean.
Hey,
You
side
guys
note,
had what's his name, Young MC.
yeah, Young MC. And Tyra LLV, he said we had Hieroglyphics. One of the dopest groups out. Shout out to Hyro. Side note, you mentioned Jazzy
Hieroglyphics.
Jeff.
You Never Know, one of my favorite tracks of all time.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
Hyro was dope. Hyro's still dope. F that. Um, Side note, I was going to mention something about Will Smith and Jazzy Jeff. Um, I remember my brother surprised me and got me this tape when I was a kid. Like one of the first music tapes that I've ever had. It was the freaking Simpsons. The Simpsons Sings the Blues. I remember that. That was funny. But didn't Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince wrote that one song, Deep Deep Trouble by Bart Simpson? Like, do you know that? I think they wrote that.
I wouldn't be surprised.
You remember that song, no?
I mean, to a certain extent, there's certain parts of my childhood that I tried to block from my memory.
I got you. I got you. I understand. That was a big record. You remember the Simpsons in the early
Yeah,
'90s was
yeah.
it was they were the big thing. And Fox was promoting it. They had the video. It was crazy. But
I
yeah,
know.
we had balance in hip hop then. We had balance in hip hop. I say that when you say Jazzy Jeff and Will Smith, I'm like, yeah, they wrote for the Simpsons. They wrote a song for Bart Simpson. Real talk. We had balance. You look now, they started pushing the propaganda
No.
on the
By the
youth.
time the mid 90s came, it was all about one thing. And then by the time the 2000s came, it was only one thing. And if you weren't doing that thing, you weren't getting in.
We weren't getting signed. And you can thank Puffy for that. Puffy was looking at the West Coast, and I'm sure Clive Davis encouraged him. Yeah, this gangster issue is finna be you need a gangster artist. So Biggie was I look.
You heard what Kirk
Jim,
Burroughs said.
yeah,
Kirk Burroughs said they studied Death Row
yeah,
and tried to emulate it at every turn.
right, right. And they did, and they did it because it was a success. And usually, successful. You if you copy something successful, and you'll at least get some of the rewards from that. And Puffy was a great biter. I remember back in the day, it was like you did not want to be a biter. You did not want to be considered whack. Puffy was both.
People in this chat tripping. I did say
What are they talking
Public
about?
Enemy.
What are they saying? I don't. I'm. Let me see. What y'all
I
got to
also
say in
said
the
the X
chat?
Clan.
You say what? The X Clan?
Yeah, I also mentioned the X Clan. Nobody ever talks about them anymore.
No, they don't. They don't mention poor righteous teachers.
They don't
Yeah.
talk about any of the real revolutionaries in hip hop.
No,
They made
not at all.
all of that very unpopular.
Disappeared.
Very,
They
very,
did it. They
very
did a. They did
unpopular.
a. They did a magic trick, and it was like, wait, where did the consciousness go in hip hop?
In the crack of
So,
somebody behind, or in somebody pipe.
so I'm gonna put this on Lear Cohen, and Lear Cohen, 300 Entertainment.
Yeah, okay.
Y'all introduce us to Young Thug.
Ain't nobody coming through here disrespecting Nipsey Hussle. Just know that.
Wait, what? Hold on, wait, what? Wait,
It's
what?
fine. They go.
Oh, no, you know what? I'm finna have the homies. I'm about to actually go to your channel, and I'm gonna have the homies.
Please, no all caps in the
Go
chat.
go to your house. You do not disrespect Nip, not at all. Young Change, I will check out your music. Follow me and make a comment under the and just say, hey, check out my music. I definitely will check it out. We got to promote really dope artists now too, for real, for real. You can't be whacking, you can't be biting. We're looking for authenticity. But back to what I was saying about Lear Cohen, they pushed the line and said, okay, we're gonna push this gangster stuff. You got Young Thug, you got a lot of people from 300 Entertainment. There's always been this conspiracy about 300 Entertainment where, they would sign an artist, they will get a life insurance policy on such artists, and then stuff happens to the artist, and
I got a family to feed.
he said that. That's what I was about to say. I was going to talk about Lyor Cohen going on the Breakfast Club. The funny thing is he did two things in that one interview. He mentioned Uncle Jam's Army. So I gave him props for mentioning Uncle Jam's Army because he was hanging with Mafla and all them because Russell Simmons is related.
Yeah.
I told you, right? I told you, y'all don't know LL really from Compton. Let me tell y'all something too. Dre loved LL. He used to like Dre. They used to call him LL Cool Dre. And this is what clientele and will tell me. Thank you, Queen Lady. Appreciate you. But yeah,
unless you are a moderator, please do not use all caps in the chat.
Said y'all acting like okay. I obviously gifted. No, you sound slow. You got to listen to the whole thing in context. Of course, I'm going to give Nipsey Hussle props for being someone who came out of this area. I grew up in this area too, and made something, and was growing, and was planting seeds in other people's head. Who do you follow? Like who do you listen to empower you? Maybe you're a Diddyite. Maybe you need more baby oil. More oil for obviously gifted. We're gonna call you obviously slipped it. Your butt cheeks is obviously slipping.
Ain't no need to go there.
But anyway, Lyor Cohen mentioned Uncle Jam's Army in the same breath when he did the interview with Breakfast Club. Then he also mentioned, well, I gotta feed my family. He was talking in reference to pushing out artists that ain't really positive or agreeable for hip hop. So like I mentioned Young Thug. Young Thug essentially was this, I don't even know what to call Young Thug, but for whatever reason, people were scared of Jeffrey. People were scared of him. He had a Glock, and he had a Uzi, and he had a skirt. I'm sorry, I ain't scared of no man in no skirt. But he was out there, and then he just got implicated. And how much time did he do? Yo, chat, tell me how much time did Young Thug do?
Not a lot.
But he ended up getting off, right?
He didn't do a lot of time at all.
So I'm going off the thing about this internet stuff. The streets, F the streets. They're pushing that, and this is I think it was 21 Savage who was the first one to say something about F the streets. I think they're pushing it because of Young Thug and what happened to Young Thug.
In my opinion,
I'm sorry, Jag. Interject because I know I'll be going. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, in my opinion, I think they're pushing it because there's more indictments that are about to start hitting the streets.
He did 3 years, Lamar. Appreciate that. Yeah. They're pushing this now. All of a sudden, it's F the streets. But y'all been pushing street on the kids for over 20 years.
Oh.
I don't see MC Cool Nerd being promoted like y'all promoted Young Thug. Because MC Cool Nerd, thank you, Alina. Appreciate you. MC Cool Nerd, stay in school. Don't be a fool. Right? That, that's MC Cool Nerd is not a real person, but maybe I'll make MC Cool Nerd something. But maybe it's for the kids because look, if you keep pushing kids into a lifestyle, it's not even a lifestyle, it's a death style. Hip hop used to be a lifestyle. It's now a death style. But if you keep pushing kids into this death style and this culture, then what options are they going to have? They're going to be in prison by the time they're 18, and then maybe they won't be able to be productive members of society. Like the brother that we were talking to earlier, he mentioned about the street life and how it affects communities and what it leads to. You basically will have kids in a situation to where they have no hope. Because once you get in that system, that jail system, they look, you can physically whoop someone, but it ain't got nothing. The impact of them being physically whooped ain't got nothing compared to a mental whooping. And that jail will mentally whoop a man. I've only been to jail, and I ain't been to prison, been to jail for some damn parking tickets or something, right? I remember one time I went, and the white boy, I think he was like in the army or something. And he did something, and he ended up having to go to jail. And he looked at me and said he was so scared. He looked like one of the kids from Stranger Things. And I wasn't talking to him, and I was just sitting there minding my business. He looked at me and was like, I don't want to get raped. I can't even say the word. I don't want to get raped. Like he literally, and I just was like, dude, you have an option. You do not have to be raped in jail. And this is jail, not prison.
You don't always have an option.
Man, I will not shower for 2 weeks just so that I won't be somebody's bitch.
No, I hear what you're saying, but what I'm saying is you got to listen to that. Like, and I just want to acknowledge that for a second, what you just said. The simple fact that there is a culture in the prison system where it has become a common, you know, ideology for that kind of behavior to happen. The simple fact that there are still prisons that are operating right now where guards are using grape as a
Yeah,
disciplinary action
yeah,
or a way to, like, people aren't realizing that they were normalizing this kind of barbaric behavior. And then these things happen to these people, and then they send people right back out into the streets
yeah. To do what?
with
To victimize.
with the spirit of that on them. So it's like, it's really sad when you hear men say, I don't want to go to prison and get raped. Oh my goodness, they're gonna grape you. Man, like when you hear people say, yeah, you going to jail and they gonna do this to you. Like, people just randomly saying that, threatening that, and being okay with saying that and not paying attention to exactly how sick and disturbing that is.
Like the guy said about rehabilitation. They really don't offer rehabilitation in prison. If there was really some rehabilitation going on, you wouldn't have to worry about that. You would have people coming out and becoming at least like plumbers and drywall, and hang up some drywall, get you a trade or something. You know what I'm saying? But no, yeah, you got to go there. And well, yeah, I don't want to go there,
No,
but you
I'm
know what I'm
just saying,
saying.
I want you, no, but I want you to think about what that actually encourages. And I don't think people really understand or appreciate the reality of that. They are literally pushing an agenda of sodomy
Yeah,
in this
yeah,
place
yeah,
and sending people out as sodomites.
yeah,
Why?
yeah.
Why? Like, why is that happening? And it's just it's getting to the point where they've been pushing the sodomy agenda in hip hop as well. They've been doing it
Well,
covertly. They've been doing it
sagging,
covertly.
sagging is one. You're
Yeah,
right.
the sagging pants thing, because that came from jail. And that whole thing was done in jail to let people know, hey, I'm
That you up
down
for it.
for yeah,
Yep,
yeah, 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 yeah. Like,
yep.
I'm gonna let my it's the male cleavage.
You know what's funny? Let me talk about this real quick. Because I mentioned Colors, the song by Ice-T, Colors. And in the second verse, he says something about my pants are sagging, braided hair. Suckers stare, but I don't care. Number one, not dissing the OG. It's a song, and you know, side note, Rick James was supposed to write was supposed to do the theme the theme to Colors, and it didn't work out. But they let Ice-T do it. But he said that in that joint, pants are sagging, braided hair.
Listen to me. I ain't got nothing against Ice-T. I'm not trying to say nothing against Ice-T, but when it comes to Ice-T, for me, I see somebody who capitulates for the system,
Who does what?
who's bent over for
Oh
the
well,
system.
yeah. I mean, you know, he's
And
playing the
and
game. Yeah, you're right. I got you.
and it is
See,
what it is. Like the simple fact that people like him and LL Cool J, spent their time, I mean, once upon a time, Ice-T was making records talking about F the police and talking about going out and unaliving cops. And then all of that just to spend
to
the
play
past 30
cops.
years, yeah, to spend the past 30 years playing a cop. And if people don't remember, it was what was the movie? Was it New Jack City?
Yeah, New Jack City.
That was his first big cop role that he played,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
he was an undercover cop.
And he was an
Yep.
undercover cop. And I don't think a lot of people realize that we might need to start looking at these rappers as deep cover agents. Like for real, because what a lot of them have done is they've sat on record and they've encouraged all kinds of bad behavior, all kinds of bad thoughts, encouraged people to go out and do all these things just to turn around and be down with the man. Meanwhile, everybody that bought their records and was listening to their records is on probation or parole or facing 10 to 20.
Mm, you got a point. You do got a point. And see, Jag, I'm not mad at you. You know me though. I won't say something about certain people out of respect,
Vice
but
versa.
but you got and we know that. You too. But you also got to call a spade a spade. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Because there's a
Call it how you
certain
see it.
situation, and some people are very lucky that I won't say nothing about that's been going on. You know what I mean? So it's so funny. People are so quick to always say, "Oh, she's a hater," and "Oh, she does this," and "Oh, she does that." If people only knew exactly how many things I don't speak on.
Now, see, that's the thing I was about to say. I was gonna say, you honestly, you honestly, like you mentioning someone actually is a good look. And then the people that you don't mention, because my thing is, I know so much stuff, just like you know so much stuff, and it's just like sometimes it's kind of like, okay, I'll just be quiet about it, just out
In
of
my
like you said.
opinion, in my opinion, we choose our battles.
Exactly,
We choose our
exactly,
battles because
exactly.
it ain't always the time to talk about certain things. Some things need to be left alone, some things need to be highlighted. um what I've come to learn about you and I is when we have these conversations, it's really based around going after the more immediate threat or the immediate danger, to our people, to our communities. That's really what we address. We address what's affecting and destroying it, because all of this stuff is systemic and you have to break it down one layer at a time. Someone just mentioned New York Undercover in the chat, and I mean, people really need to think back to what that series was doing, the way they married hip hop culture with these young, good looking cops, and then they had the music at the end of it to get people all, oh yeah, yeah, they're just like you. They're just no, what it did was is it taught people how to let your guard down around
That
law
was a
enforcement.
that was a CIA op. If you
Yes,
ain't
it
seen one,
was.
where in the late 70s, no, the early 70s and 60s, 60s and 70s, they Hollywood was instructed, yeah, y'all got to do these a series about Dragnet and chips and all, that's that was an agenda. Like, yeah, you gotta make cops not the enemy.
Make them likable, make them
Yeah,
your friend.
yeah, yeah.
And that's what it did. And that's exactly what it did. It was wild because, recently, not long ago, Malik Yoba actually did an interview talking about Tupac, talking about New York Undercover,
Mm-hmm.
and all of that with
Mm-hmm.
Jamal Bryant. And you want to know what I thought
Mm-hmm.
was real interesting?
What's that?
Real interesting. That they got through that whole thing and they not once addressed him and his love for trannies.
Malik Yogurt.
Like, I'm still trying to understand how nobody, like, how you going to interview him and not ask him about his tranny girlfriend?
I mean, how do you yeah, I don't know. How would you never mind. I
Like, I'm
what
still trying
questions
to
do you
figure it
ask?
out. Well, it's a very
Do
simple
you slurp
question.
sacks?
No, it's a very simple question. You've been accused of yada 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 yada, and you had a partner of yours come forward. They approached your child. They did this. All of this was very heavily, exploited online. Can we talk about, your gender preferences? Where do you stand?
You you
Whoop de whoop de
you
woo,
you
yada
ask
yada yada.
you ask them. So you've been accused of slapping sacks with another individual.
You want to know what's
What do you
wild?
what do you say about that?
One of the same trannies that said that they was messing with him also said that they was messing with LL Cool J. So it's like there were certain things that happened all around the same time. No, I
See,
want you to think about that. I want you to think about what New York was like. The meat packing district.
pause.
No, that was a real district. That was real. That was real. We used to hang out in the meat packing district in New York. And do you want to know what it turned into late at night? All of the transgender prostitutes, all the transgender prosties was roaming around. Were all of those TV stars? Like
Okay.
mm,
How did we get
yeah.
on to this topic? How
We were just
how
talking
how did
about the
how did we
intersection.
get
We
here?
we were talking about the intersection between how the F the streets movement is a bunch of crap because it was all engineered by all of these people sitting there infiltrating the culture and getting the people and convincing the people and influencing the people's minds. And I started talking about the prison system, and we started talking about how they've been pushing this this sodomite agenda for quite some time and pushing it back out into yeah. And then you started talking about the sagging pants, and then boom, and here we are, Malik Yoba
And then we
being
talking about
interviewed.
slap. We talking about the slap sacking slaps the sack slapping actor. Anyway,
No, I'm just trying to
um,
figure it out. But then again, in my opinion, Jamal Bryant ain't looking all that straight these days either. Sitting around asking Cam Newton about how he moisturizes
sexy
his
legs.
legs and talking
Is he
about
the
how
one? Yeah, he's the
sexy his
one that said
legs
about he
is.
had pretty legs for a man.
Yeah, yeah. It was asking him what he uses to moisturize and how beautiful his legs are. And Cam is sitting there with his legs crossed, looking like a whole like I'm just not getting it.
Me neither. I don't.
And we supposed to be taking these people seriously,
Nah.
but then you got Leora Cohen and his very good friend Russell Simmons.
Well, that's see. Yeah, yeah. We gonna have to do a whole members only about that because I got some stories.
Like, let's
And
be
then
very
plus
clear.
plus it looks like they about to roll Russell back out
Oh, they
because
trying to.
he got acquitted of all the. I mean, he paid off all the. Come on, y'all.
He didn't get acquitted of nothing. There was
No,
no
he
there
didn't
was
get
no
acquitted. He just
trial.
paid off. He
He
paid the yeah
paid people off. And
yeah.
guess what? Now Kimura back on TV.
We'll
Like,
have
they're
to do a
making
whole nother.
deals. They're making deals. They're making deals, they're making side deals, they're hooking people up. Everybody's being rewarded for keeping their mouth shut.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's all kind of disgusting to me just sitting around watching because this is what I've told everybody they was
Mm-hmm.
gonna do. This is the
Mm-hmm.
funniest thing in the world. I sat there and I told everybody exactly how they gonna play it, exactly what they gonna do. Start little fires everywhere. They're gonna do
Mm-hmm.
this, they're gonna do that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, don't forget, Eddie Murphy said all he was trying to do was help what he thought was a young woman get home safely at night. He didn't know it was a transgender. That's what Eddie Murphy said.
Eddie Murphy taught me that back at the house.
You want to know what's funny? There's a story I could tell. Ooh, there's a story I could tell, but I'm not going to.
You wouldn't even do a members only.
Nope, nope, I'm not going to because at this point in time,
Yeah.
it really it
Legal.
be it no not
Legally, it just.
not even legally because the truth is it ain't no lie. The thing that bothers me more than anything is that people tend to think that everything that I do and everything that I say is to hurt people
Mm-hmm.
or because I'm
Mm-hmm.
bitter and like no,
Mm-hmm.
the truth is the only situations that I've ever talked about are situations that led to situations that created harm. People had a right to do whatever they want to do. If what you doing is what you doing and it ain't hurting nobody, then that's fine. That's your life. I don't have the right to tell somebody what they need to be into or what they don't need to be into. But when what you're doing is creating harm,
Yeah. It's a problem.
that's a problem. And that
It's a
needs to be
problem.
spoke out against. That needs to be spoke out against and it needs to be dealt with immediately. And that's the biggest problem that a lot of people don't understand when it comes to me. I don't run around talking about everybody's issues. I don't run around talking about everybody's problems or everybody's sins. I don't do that. I have my own, which is why I never had a problem with, that's why I was like, I'll be honest about myself. I've done some pretty out there shit. This is all standard, par for the course when it comes to the industry. I've tried to teach people the dangers of how this whole thing works and why they keep getting away with doing all of the things that they're doing and hurting all of the people that they're hurting. But people want to make it all about gossip. You know, I and that's why I'm glad you decided to do this live today and talk about this whole F the Streets campaign because in my opinion, this is a cover up. This
Oh
is a
yeah.
cover up. This
Oh
is
yeah.
just a different way to try to say, "Hey, we got to switch this up because we're exposed. People see
Yeah.
what's going on. We're exposed. We got to switch this up." And it's funny
Yeah.
because to a certain extent, that's what, all in the same gang and self-destruction was all about. They were trying to find a way to keep Congress and them from
Off of hip
banning
hop's
rap music.
neck. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what that was all about. Like a lot of people forget when Same Game came out, when self-destruction came out, Congress was lobbying to end hip hop.
Yeah.
So what did they
Yeah.
do? They got a bunch of popular rappers to go into the studio and to create these so-called positive songs and make it seem like it was this and make it seem like it was that. And guess what? The second that it was all over, they was back to making hate music again and
Yeah.
degradation music. And matter of fact, they went full throttle on a whole nother tip
Yep. Yep.
because that's when the sexualizing and the glorifying and all of that stuff really popped up and now here we are
Yeah. Yep.
so in my opinion this whole F the streets thing is some BS.
Yeah.
It's just another marketing campaign to try to take the heat off of hip hop while they figure out how to flim flam and switch it up so they can get back to business and
How How they going to restructure and reorganize?
Exactly. Exactly. Because that's what it
It's
all
a
comes down
reset.
to.
It's a reset. Let's
All
just
of
call
this
it what it
is a
is.
reset. All of this is a reset. I just want everybody to take into consideration how all of this is happening as Diddy's trial comes to an end. And like they're literally trying to save the industry, because the truth is that so many people now have opened their eyes to see how terrible all of this stuff really is. A lot
Yeah.
of people have come forward to realize, hey, Jag ain't tripping. Jag is keeping it a buck. This shit is really as bad as she said it was. Oh my
And the,
God, this stuff
and the
is really
cold part
terrible.
about it is you really held your tongue on a lot of stuff. But
Yeah, I
if
did.
they really let you go,
If I went as hard as I could go, the music industry would never be able to sell another record.
yeah,
They would never be able to sell not one damn record, not ever, not never again. And guess
yeah,
what? That's bad for the system.
it is. It's
That's
bad
bad for the
for
system.
it's bad for the system. It's bad for the government.
Yeah.
Y'all got to break that word down. Government, govern, control, mente, mind. Um,
The
because
word government is MK Ultra.
the way entertainment has always been curated or put out there, it's always been about control. You got to control the masses. You got to control the content. You got so yeah, like if you said, like I said, if you really let it go, it'd be a lot of hurt people. It'd be a lot of ways that people can't wash money. It'd be a lot of ways where they can't uh, traffic light kids. Like
Hmm.
yeah, yeah.
People ain't paying attention to a lot of things. And
Y-
everybody wants
We
to make me out to be the bad guy, but I'm gonna tell you something right now. Anytime you have somebody like me who is not using the system, the simple fact that I am not sitting on millions of dollars and riding around and wearing all kinds of stuff. Like anytime you have somebody like me who has the ability to reach the masses the way I do, and I have not capitalized off of it, that needs to tell you everything you need to know.
right.
That should tell you everything that you need to know. It's really wild. Like people sit here and they look at people like Candace Owens, and I'm just sitting there like, y'all don't get it. If she was telling the truth, she'd be broke.
She wouldn't even be allowed to speak. They'd put warrants on her. They would figure out a way to take her house. They would yeah. She wouldn't even be able to pay an electricity bill.
That's part of
But
the
she
reason
got
why they hate.
sponsors
That's part of no, but that's part of the reason why they hate us the way that they hate us,
because we're still pushing through.
because we're still pushing through,
Speaking
because we're
of,
still surviving.
speaking of, get over to Jaguar Rights Patreon. We're gonna do a lot more like exclusive combos over there, but we kind of just need everybody that's a supporter of Jaguar on her Patreon. Even if, like you said, just sign up for free. We're gonna do a lot more in 2026 over there. Just stuff, conversations that you're really not gonna get on YouTube. She also has the Rumble, but the Patreon is patreon.com/Jaguar Right. The Rumble is rumble.com/Jaguar Right. Just get over there too, because we're censored over here too. She's been shadow banned, even though she's shadow banana, right? Even though she's shadow banned, she still got over 100K. So we
They pissed
appreciate
off
y'all
about
for.
that.
But certain people who got a platform, inflated platform, they get millions and millions of subs, and that's just what it is. They've gone on to Google to say that Jaguar makes unsubstantiated claims simply because she made a claim about a few things. I think primarily is because of that Pierce Morgan thing. The funny thing is it would be funny to just bust them all out for that shit because I know the truth. Y'all got to really listen to what she was saying on that Pierce Morgan stuff and just break it down. Like They did not send her a cease and desist. They did not sue her like how they've sued Nicki Minaj. They can't silence her because she's telling the truth. That's just what it is. And if you can't be sued for telling the truth. That's what I'm saying. You can't be sued for telling the truth.
But you know what though? If they can find a way to try to make you crazy, if they can find a way to try to make you look like you're nuts, if they can find a way to try to discredit you, that's exactly what they will do. And guess what? What's really sad is exactly how gullible the public is because they fall for it every time.
Yeah.
They fall for it every time. When I think about the Holocaust and before the Holocaust happened and how, Hitler was able to get everybody on board with his plan. He didn't start running around just smacking Jews up and acting crazy and going nuts on them. No. He hired a director and he started making movies.
Mm-hmm.
He
Mm-hmm.
started making movies.
Mm-hmm.
And he sat there and he convinced everybody that how he felt and what he thought was right. And guess what? When it came time for it all to go down, everybody just went right along with it. Right along with it. Like we're watching all kinds of peer pressure happening, through pop culture right there. It's just right there in our faces. I'm still trying to understand what's it going to take people to get to see that these SE actual agendas that they're pushing have absolutely nothing to do with freedom. And it's really all about just convincing people into accepting certain things so that they can push certain agendas. I'm going to tell y'all something right now. When y'all little 11 and 12 and 13-year-old girls start popping up missing, and then the next thing you know, you find them and you come to find out they married and ain't nothing you can do about it, ain't nothing you can say about it because it was legal in this state and this happened and they was able to work this and work that. Y'all just think about it. Y'all because that shit is coming.
Yeah.
They are literally trying to normalize certain things. And that's why when we were having certain conversations, and they use rap to do this.
Mm.
They've been using rap to push these agendas. Think about all of these stories that we're hearing with all of these young women who are talking about how they were underage when they were essayed by this rapper or by that rapper,
Yeah.
and how all of this happened on a video shoot and all of that
Yeah.
happened on a video shoot. Children are most definitely a target.
Yeah.
Children are most definitely a target. Like it says in the Bible, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is older, he will not depart from it. Best example of that, Kimora Lee.
Mm.
Kimora Lee
Mm.
was taken under Russell Simmons' wing as a very, very, very underage girl. Russell had his hand on Kimora before she had fully
Yeah.
matured into her bosom.
Yeah.
He was,
Yeah.
you can hear her do interviews and talk about it herself about how he was taking her to do stuff, to do runway shows when she was 14, 15 years old. When you get a girl young, you train her mind. And when she is older, she will not depart from it. The simple fact that she came forward and had the audacity to say that she had no idea that Aoki was dating that senior citizen.
Mm.
The
Yeah.
simple fact that she had the audacity to sit up there and say, "Oh, I didn't even know she was doing it." Bitch, get the fuck out of here. All of social media knew. Her father knew and you didn't know? And she was living with you? She was up around you? Are you kidding me?
How did the
And now
question I
look at
have is
and now look no, but see, this is the thing. Look at Jesse and Delilah, the way they're
yeah.
behaving, the stuff that they got going on. Every time you turn around, they're dressed in some very, very scantily clad clothes, very, very, very skimpy behavior. These girls are 19 years old. They're 19 years old. Like
The
I'm
question I
just
got, Jag, the question I got, because you talking about the Combs twins, the girls, and then you talked about Aoki. That's the daughter, right?
yeah.
Um, and I understand she got some insecurities and stuff like that.
She's
The
got some
question,
insecurities. That's the
but
one that I told you about, that they had pumped all of them steroids into her to make
yeah,
her organs and stuff
yeah,
develop faster so
yeah,
Kimura could give birth to her when she was 6 months, 7 months pregnant so she wouldn't get fucking stretch marks. They was playing
that's
Dr. Frankenstein with that girl.
from the jump. But listen, how, I'm looking at the men. How do these men get into these girls' lives? Because usually with people of that age, you got to be in their peer group. I mean, of course, social media, that's a whole nother monster. How did that old ass man, who introduced that old ass man to that young ass
She was
girl?
a sugar baby.
How does that happen?
She was a
I'm just
sugar baby. Her daddy cut her whole allowance off. Remember, he was cutting her allowance off. They was
hmm
online arguing and all of that. And he was sitting up there talking about her titties wasn't big enough to be able to get a man. She said
yeah,
that.
I remember that. I remember that.
We can't even begin to talk about Morgan Freeman and that
Morgan
13-year old.
Freeman
We
and
can't
his step granddaughter.
his step granddaughter. We can't even begin to talk about that. Like I'm
That's not
just,
even. That's not. We behind the paywall because I
yeah,
got
we'll
something
do
to say
that.
about that.
We'll do that behind the paywall. But what I'll say is this: when you look at movies like Color Purple, and you think about the fact that the character Celie was only 12 years old when she
Yeah.
was sold off to Mr. and she was married off to Mr. Woody Allen. Listen to me. I know. Like, that's the funny thing about it. But when you have these types who have been brooming children with a G, brooming children with a G, what do you think happens to young women who grow up in that mindset? Because I'm going to tell you something right now. My mother and all of them, they thought that stuff was normal. They didn't have no problem. It was, well, you got to find yourself a husband. Like, this stuff has been going on for so long. It was embedded in our culture. Older men taking the younger girls and training her up. So if you got a girl that's susceptible to thinking this way, tell me something. What happens when she gets too old for him and she's not interested? What's she gonna do? Because if
Mm,
Mister needs somebody young and fresh, and that's been normalized in her mind,
yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, it's just wild because I'm thinking about that show Handmaid's Tale, and there's a lot of stuff that's going on right now. We gonna have to, yeah. But once again, hip hop, I'm still trying to figure out how people aren't, how the hell did DJ Envy and his wife manage to get away with that whole situation without being under investigation when they had that little daughter of theirs dressed like Little Kim for Halloween in that bikini and posted it up all over social media? Like, how did they get away with that? I don't understand. I don't understand how they got away with that. I don't understand how they weren't under investigation by Child Protective Services for what they did. As many weirdos is online looking at little kids doing all kinds of stuff, and they, oh, well, she loves Little Kim. What do you mean she loves Little Kim? What is a 7, 8, 9 year old girl doing listening to Little Kim? And it's wild because I remember when we were younger, stupid parents playing that music around our children. We did that. We did that. And I think that's part of the reason why a lot of people also got a big issue with me, because I can go back and I can look at the things that we did that weren't right, you know? Please, no caps in the chat. No caps in the chat, not unless you're a moderator. But we got a lot to, and they use hip hop, and they use hip hop culture to push all of this stuff into people. But I know we've been here a lot longer than we were supposed to be. So on that note, I'm chilling. I'm done.
Yeah, we've been here a minute. Are we you still want to do the maybe we'll do it tomorrow. What do you want to do? Because we still got to get on the horn on some stuff. But I was saying the year in review, maybe it's more appropriate to do it tomorrow. Are you gonna go live or what you want
Well,
to do?
actually, I was thinking about doing a members only live today, talking about to see if anybody wanted to do a Q&A regarding the Legina Gold, revealing Legina Gold
Oh,
series that we made
yeah,
available. Um, I was
yeah.
thinking about doing that today, because
That's a good idea.
you know that's a conversation that we need to dive deeper into that. And honestly, it steers into a conversation that we're having that needs to be had regarding YouTube content. What's real, what's fake, and when does monetization become criminal?
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. I think we might do that. I think we might do that members only live.
Okay. That'll work.
Okay.
All
Well,
right,
I'm
y'all.
Jaguar, right? It's been fun hanging out with you guys.
Indeed. And you doing that today?
Yeah,
Members only?
yeah.
Cool. I mean, I'm in the house. I definitely want to peep that. All right, y'all. Again, Jaguar Wright, her website, thejaguarwright.com, her YouTube's at the Jaguar Wright Effect and at the Jaguar Wright Show. The Rumble is rumble.com/Jaguar Wright. The Patreon is patreon.com/Jaguar Wright. Yeah, LP, if you want to get monetized, bro, let's see. We gotta talk because I want to help you too. Um, and we could make that happen, especially all everybody that's down with us in the new year. If y'all really want to make some things happen, y'all just got to hit my line, hit my email, and LaRon gonna just see me in person. I pull up on him.
We
So
definitely need to talk because it's time. There are so many different little internet communities that are running around here. Some of them operate more like Gestapo and Mafia than they do internet communities. But for people like us who are interested in sharing the truth and stuff, we have to have our own community as well. And now that the Jaguar Right Effect, which I call our community channel, has finally hit 100K. We need to keep building, and we need to keep building with other content creators who are interested in doing the same things that we're trying to get done here.
yeah, and you're right. All these other ones, they have their little community, and there's a lot of illegal things that go on in their community, but we're not gonna go there, and we're not even gonna be doing any of that. We're gonna stick to the truth, journalists, investigations. If we got to expose, we're gonna expose. But yeah, that's what the community will be about. Like if you're a content creator, you're really trying to just hit me. We already got it all lined up. All right, we out of here.